thing. So they're basically cooking people in the U.S. at night while they sleep.
The evidence is overwhelming. They are microwaving everyone at night while they sleep with cell towers, NexRad, and so much more. If you've been feeling off since the rollout of 5G, you're not alone. At first they rolled out the 5G, and then everybody started getting sick. The bees began to die, the birds began to die, people began to die, and it's all being traced back to this 5G. Of course, once this happens, they come on television, they say like, oh, we've got the bird flu, we've got the bat flu, we've got the swine flu. And then they roll out the vaccines and they basically throw fuel onto the fire and make it even worse. And then they're like, oh, we got to lock you down. We got to take your rights away.
So they're basically cooking people in the U.S. at night while they sleep.
So what's happening at night while you sleep? Well, you're looking at it. Basically, they turn up the power on these radar stations and these cell towers and the LED lights and the like. They turn up the power to make people sick. And it weakens their immune system. It causes cancers and so much more. And it's basically like clockwork. And people are talking about it. And it's become obvious that while people are sleeping, while you're totally defenseless in dreamland, basically they're microwaving you. And many people are reporting strange vibrations at night, the sensation of being microwaved. It's all over the congressional hearings. There's no doubt that they're using this technology for military purposes.
At the beginning, I designed the Rays of Peace, which could destroy thousands of planes 100 miles away.
Every country would be able to defend itself with an invisible Great Wall by putting towers with the Rays of Peace along their nation's borders. Of course, the military would give anything to get their hands on my Rays of Peace, so they could turn them into Rays of Death. Because if my Rays of Peace were placed in a certain configuration, anything surrounded by them would be utterly destroyed. I could be the main secret weapon of the Pentagon, but I...
Let them know the town of knows no shame, and we'll do it time and time and time and time again, till everything comes down. I am not afraid. I'm not afraid. To their eyes and show them that they have always been blind. Touch me. To wrap you in my arms, and you'll have no reason for crying. Blow, wind, blow, blow, wind, blow, blow dust into their eyes and help them realize that they have always been blind. And I could forgotten, blowing blow, blow.
Rioting, and a state that is both incompetent and also arbitrarily aggressive.
You're a former politician. What would you do?
We've not really confronted a situation like this before as a country. The governing elites in Britain seem to be losing control.
I actually think it's worse than that.
My generation of Conservatives, look at what we've done to this country. It's on us.
Do you regret Brexit at all?
My child was thrown out of her school. I was unable to travel on public transport. Without question, there are certain parts of Britain that have been colonised. 1 in 27 people in the United Kingdom today has arrived in the past 2 years. 40% of foreign-born people in the United Kingdom have arrived in the past 10 years. We've never been allowed to have this discussion. I'm having this conversation with you.
You believe a civil war is on the rise?
A civil war is inevitable. It will happen.
They're not asylum seekers. They've gone through 16 safe countries. They're safe in France. France isn't at war.
And how did you get here?
I get by boat.
By boat?
Yeah, from France.
The United Kingdom has recently erupted, and the kingdom is not united. In fact, it seems to be very divided at the moment. Riots have broken out across the country. The police have made arrests on men and women for speaking out, and the major underlying issue to all this is the current migrant crisis and the two-tier policing inside the United Kingdom. In this video, I will show you what has caused the UK to erupt as I investigate and dig deep into the migrant crisis. I will be going to the start of the issue here in Dover, England, and I will be speaking with UK's most controversial man, Tommy Robinson. I will be attending the largest rally in UK history and going to other cities that have been changed due to the influx of migrants. And I will also be going to certain parts of London where migrants have taken over parks as they have set up their own encampments. This is going to get hectic, and let's start by going to Dover, England. And why is Dover such an important city regarding the migrant issue here in the United Kingdom? Because here in Dover is where thousands and potentially millions of migrants have crossed the English Channel from France on inflatable boats coming here to the United Kingdom. And from Dover to the closest town in France, it is about 20-mile stretch, and once a migrant boat gets within 10 miles of the border of the United Kingdom, they are then intercepted by the Coast Guards, and they are brought here to this pier here in Dover. It's a pretty secretive process that goes on here with the migrants. Right behind me is a barricade that we cannot see where the migrants are at. However, we do know that this is where the migrants come in, and they are put behind this wall. And right over there on the other side, there are tents and buses that then take the migrants from here, and they spread them out throughout the United Kingdom. And I'm also here with Brooker T. Jones, my mother, and she's going to be coming along the ride to see what's happening here with the migrant crisis. So how do the people here feel about the migrants that are coming into Dover?
They don't like it, do they? There's too many coming over. It just ruins this town. It's ruined it.
And would you say the majority of people here in Dover and in the United Kingdom in general are very accepting of the migrants?
No. No one likes them.
How do the people here in the town of Dover feel about the migrants coming in?
I don't know. I don't think they like it.
Why so?
Because they don't belong here.
And where should they go?
Back to their country.
Why don't you like them coming over in your country?
Because most of them ain't working, you know what I mean? Like, they're just coming over and using all our shit.
How do you feel about the migrants that are all coming over?
I think everyone deserves a life, to be honest with you. If they need to come here to be happy and have a life, then I think they should be entitled to.
And so are there like cartels or other groups that smuggle migrants into the border?
Probably say so, mate. So there's loads of them.
In the United States, we have cartels that kind of control all the migrants. Is there some sort of thing like that here in the United Kingdom?
I'm sure there is, but you don't see it. You don't see it at all. There's definitely help for these people or misinformation for these people pushing them towards us, but yeah, I'd say there definitely is.
To better understand the UK migrant crisis, I met up with Tommy Robinson. Now, if you do not know who Tommy is, he is known for being the most controversial activist in the United Kingdom, as he has no fear to speak his own opinion. The media labels Tommy as a far-right British man who is a racist, fascist, and meanwhile, others say he's a patriot to the United Kingdom. And after this interview, you will see how Tommy managed to hold the largest rally in the United Kingdom history. And now pay close attention to what Tommy says about the UK migrant crisis and comment down below what you think about this issue, because I think some of this information will shock you. What is happening here inside the United Kingdom with the migrant crisis?
The migrant crisis, we're losing our culture, losing our identity, we're being replaced. We feel like, well, we're becoming minorities in most major cities. We're being driven out of our own country, driven out of our own towns. So People are uncomfortable with it, but people have been scared into silence from even having these discussions due to the fear of being branded a racist, losing your job, cancel culture. All these things prevent the public from telling the truth. I come from a town that's 30 miles north of London. When I was born in 1982, there was one mosque, there's now 45. Yeah, and 50% of the town is Pakistani Muslim. So I see the difference. I see the problems from hostility, the culture, the aggression, Islamic domination. All these things. So I've spoke about it, but 15 years ago people didn't want to listen.
And where are the migrants coming from?
Everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. So Afghanistan, Somalia, Eritrea, Pakistan, Iraq, Syria. They all say now they're Iranian. They all have their one to say that they can try and get in. But when we say migrants, they say asylum seekers. They're not asylum seekers. They've gone through 16 safe countries. They're safe in France. France isn't at war.
And why do they come here to the United Kingdom?
Because they get a free house. They get given priority above us. They get everything above us. So British people, you can go into this town centre, you'll find English people sleeping rough, homeless on the street. You go to a hotel and you'll see it full of 100 Pakistani men who are getting free phone credit, getting given money every week, and then in a few years they'll bring all their families over as well.
So in the United States, the same thing is happening as well. They're bringing the migrants over, but our border is different. It's a land, and they cross over the United States-Mexico border, and then they get put into hotels, and they get free healthcare, they get free phones, they get free everything.
It's not a mistake. None of this is a mistake. None of it. Your borders didn't open at the same time of our borders. Every border in Europe opened at the same time. 8 million people come through yours. They talk about them. Literally, they took out Gaddafi. They opened up the floodgates to Europe by taking him out. And the migrants literally go 20 metres off the coast of Libya and they get picked up by NGOs, which are funded by the German government, and then they get brought into Europe. And as they're brought into Europe, they come into our communities. They break down our communities. We're weakened, and part of it is we're all looking and arguing with each other whilst they're eroding our rights and our freedoms, all of our rights and freedoms. So it lowers the wage, which they like as well.
And so they're literally able to come through on boats here into London or here into the United Kingdom, and they're let here and they're let into society?
Not just boats, they come through on student visas, they come through so many. We let last year 1.2 million legal migrants.
1.2 million?
1.2 million legal migrants.
And this isn't a very big land, like the United Kingdom is pretty small.
6 million people.
6 million?
60 million, we let in 1.2 million last year. And there's a housing crisis and prices are going through the roof and no one can get a property. Young English people can't get on the property ladder, can't get a dentist appointment. People are pulling their own teeth out because they can't get a dentist appointment. So your family have paid into a system for generations after generations after generation. You've lived in the same family. Your family have died to save and protect this country, and then you're put second rate, and they're flooding the country. You're paying for it. You're struggling. You can't get a dentist appointment. There's so many problems. You can't even get your kid in a local school because they're all full of all the young Muslim kids that are getting brought in.
So would you say that the English people here in the United Kingdom are being replaced by the migrants?
Not just English people. Every one of our countries we're being replaced. The whole of Europe. Like people talk about the Great Replacement, yeah. And like we were saying, they're replacing us. There's a 177-page document from the United Nations on their plan to do this. This is planned, yeah?
And what benefits do the migrants get here once they arrive to the United Kingdom?
They get everything. They get houses. They get free meals a day. They get money. When I say they get free meals a day, you have got English old age pensioners who can't afford to turn their heating on. These lot are staying in 4-star hotels. You've got English people who are dying, starving, all these different things, living in poverty. And you've got hotels full. I'd say now this country, it's 1,000 years of English history here, 1,000 years. And within 2 or 3 generations, they've absolutely destroyed this nation. And they're giving it away.
Wow. In the United States, we have migrants from all around the world, but mainly Central, South America. We get a few from Middle East. What countries are coming in to Europe?
So your migration, I always look at your migration when people moan about Mexicans and think you have no idea here. When you get Middle Eastern, when you get Pakistani, when you get Syrian, when you get Somalian, you are going to have a shock, America, yeah? Because you think there's a problem from the Mexicans. You have no idea. The hostility, the rapes. You know the biggest problem in this country is they've literally, an invading army's coming to this country and raping their way through it. They're raping their way through it. Our daughters are being raped. 2.5% of this country is Muslim men. 2.5%. They're responsible for 90% of the convictions of groups of men that rape young children. And 30% of the men convicted are called Mohammed. Like, it doesn't work. And it's like mixing oil and water. It's not going to work. It doesn't work. Yeah, They're reliant on the state. They're not working. They're all on benefits. And these problems, as soon as you try and talk about these problems or highlight these problems, as an Englishman, or especially as a straight white male, they come down you like a ton of bricks. And the government, because these are all down to government failures in policy. Yeah, so they don't want you talking about the problems or addressing the problems and warning about the problems of what open border mass immigration brings, especially from Islamic nations.
Would you say people are scared to walk around these streets here with all the migrants that are coming in?
Yeah, there's no-go areas across this country where women would be scared. I'll tell you what, go dress a young girl up and walk her through the town. Go dress a young girl up, an attractive girl, and tell her to walk through the Muslim area. See what happens. See what happens. Well, they're our daughters and they're our towns, yeah? And you've imported these people in. And you've took away the safety of the thing that we hold most precious to us, our families, yeah? And then when we try and talk about it, you want to silence us down. So we've been made to feel ashamed of being British, and all cultures are equal, which they're not, yeah? We are a superior culture. We should celebrate it. Being born English is like winning the lottery of life, yeah? We're the best country in the world, the best nation in the world, and we want to celebrate it.
Do you think the presidents of all these countries are in on this together, and do you think Donald Trump is going to interrupt this establishment that they're trying to create?
I don't think they are. We know they are. We know they are. There's an agenda. Now, I think Donald Trump, the reason why they've just tried to him was because he's going to get in the way. He's going to get in the way of what they do. They want war. They want the war in Ukraine. They don't care that 500,000 Ukrainian men have been killed. They do not care. Yeah, it's money, it's profit. Okay, and I think that if Donald Trump gets elected, we'll have peace again. Certainly bring back peace.
Tomorrow is the rally. It's going to be the biggest rally that...
It's going to be the largest gathering of patriots that Britain's ever seen. And that is a historic date and a historic moment, because people don't come out in support or celebration of their country. They've been dumbed down and made not to feel not to. So we're going to send the establishment, who will be watching tomorrow, we're going to send them a very powerful message that we're not sitting by silently while you replace us. We're not sitting by silently while you keep the borders open and you destroy our security, our stability, and the future of our for our children.
You guys have a rich history as far as World War I, World War II, and the veterans that fought for your guys' land, and now you guys are being somewhat replaced by a lot of these migrants. A lot of these migrants are coming in and people are saying they feel like they're being replaced, and the veterans that fought for you guys are on the streets while migrants get put up in hotels. How does that make you feel?
Obviously, we're not happy about it. We've got nothing about migration. We're not against migration. We're about controlling our borders. If I was to go to another country, I would be vetted, and if I'd been in trouble before or had any past history, I wouldn't be allowed in. We're not about anti-immigration. We're about controlling the migration. And if we don't take control of the migration, we're going to be outnumbered in our own country. We will no longer be a Christian country. We'll be controlled by an Islamic movement. That's what is worrying and concerning. £29 million spent on illegal immigrants in the last 18 months, all aged between 20 and 30, fighting age, no women, no children, put up in 4- or 5-star hotels, but yet there's veterans on our street, homeless, on the street. It's all wrong. It needs to be put right. Government needs to be outed. If we have to issue Article 61 on common law, then so be it. We will do it. That's what's happening next if they don't listen. We will not comply next time.
Civil war is on the rise?
A civil war is inevitable. It will happen if they don't listen. 100%. We're not messing about. Yeah? They need to listen. They need to wake up. The sheeple need to wake up because they're asleep.
Who are tuning in here, as we show some of these images, they might be very difficult to watch. That right there is horrifying. You are seeing a plane stalling, literally dropping from the sky. When we spoke to analysts here, you can see some of the data indicating that this plane went from traveling at 250 miles per hour to 45 miles per hour in a matter of seconds, Ali.